Hopefully if you've been around the channel for a minute, you've heard of Deku Deals. It's a great website where you can go to check eShop prices, especially for sale games. Now, I don't mean to terrify you, but I have been working behind the scenes with a very nice chap who is helping us build our own version of that's potentially a little bit more accessible, certainly for me, and that will obviously link to the SwitchUp.gg eShop cards so you can get your discounts while you're browsing your sales, and it should just bring the backlog into one big monstrous location. So that is something to look forward to or dread, depending on how you feel about it. So as well as that, here is the winner of the free game from last week. Nice one. If you'd like to win our free game giveaway each and every week, well, you just need to leave your comments down below and I'll choose someone, and then just ping me an email. All that info is in the about section of YouTube. Okay, what are the best games on sale this week? Well, let's find out. Now, in a week where Hades 2 is coming out, obviously Supergiant Games have put Hades 1 on its biggest ever discount. It's 75% off until September the 29th. That takes it down to £5.62. Now, I've been playing through Hades 2. At the moment, the last boss keeps kicking my butt, but I have to say, without breaking embargo, the first game is still more than worth playing. It's a roguelite, top-down perspective, where you're essentially trying to escape from hell, and to do that, you have to defeat lots of evils. It has a very clever mechanic whereby every time you revisit a boss, there's a new dialogue tree. And the guy that created that, he did an interview and talking about it. It's so clever how they have carried that on as well into the second game. Again, no spoilers. But Hades 1 is cracking. We've got reviews of it on the channel as well at 75% off. If for whatever reason you haven't picked it up yet, I can imagine if you open the eShop sale at the moment, go onto your Switch, it will be like the top selling game. There's no doubt in my mind. Do keep your ears out and eyes out for the review as well of Hades 2. It's really difficult not to say anything more. That sale, as I say, goes on until September the 29th, its lowest ever price. Then we've got a Nintendo Switch 2 release, which is always nice, and it's a big one as well. It's Romancing Saga 2 Revenge of the Seven, the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, which Square Enix have brought down by 40%. This is one of those sales where Square have gone ham on the sales. Like, there are some cracking deals, and 40% off that's just come out on Switch 2. It's £29.99, and I would say that is probably our best JRPG at the moment. It performs great, it looks fantastic. And although we haven't got a review of the Switch 2 version yet, we do have a review of the Switch 1, so you can go check that out and get an idea of the game, but Glen absolutely loved it. That sale goes on all the way until October the 2nd. After that, we've got GRIS, or GRIS, at 83% off. That one goes on until the 28th of September. It's in the EU regions and Australia, and it's one of those games that kind of bridge the gap between what's like a piece of art and a game. And look, it doesn't always do it perfectly. Some of its gameplay aspects, they're not the best, but I think it's carried through by just a real sense of self. It definitely is stunning. And you're trying to help a young girl who's lost within her own world, which is like a metaphor for a painful experience in her life. And it is a ridiculous £2.49, which is its cheapest ever price. Well worth picking up. The sale, as I say, in the EU regions goes on all the way till September the 28th. ORI and the Blind Forest, the definitive edition, is down to its cheapest as well. A silly price in the UK. It's £4.99 in the US, but over here in Blighty it is £3.74, which I'm sure is the cheapest we've had it. It's funny because with Silk Song going on sale, every Metroidvania and its mum has gone on sale as well. Obviously a discounted sale rather than just the release. Now, both ORI games are at their lowest price. I think you can pick them both up for about $10 or your regional equivalent, there or thereabouts, and they're well worth it. I think I scored these above 90, something like 93%, and they're easily on a par, in my opinion, with Hollow Knight, just a slightly different flavour. That discount goes on until September the 30th, so you've got a little bit of time to check them out. With the release of Monster Hunter Stories 3,
kind of just around the corner. I mean, it's the start of next year. Now would be a good time to consider Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin, which is down to its cheapest price, £16.49, and it just improved on basically everything that the first game did so well. If you're a fan of Monster Hunter, you know the monsters that you're going to see, but here you get to raise them and train them and very often ride them around as well. This was one of my daughter's first ever proper RPGs, and she got stuck at one point right at the end of the game. There was like a boss that she just couldn't beat, and it remains that way to this day. So she's very excited about the third game, but also very aware that she needs to finish this one. I think that's probably why we saw Hollow Knight sell so many copies before Silksong came out. This one, again, is only in the EU regions at the moment. That sale goes on until September the 29th. Now here's one that I've spoken about in the past, not as favourably as lots of others, but it's Doki Doki Literature Club. This is the Plus edition, and it's its cheapest. It's 33% off, about £7. And I've gotten into visual novels in recent years. I'm really starting to enjoy them. So I'm going to go back to this one and play through it again. I just felt like it was a little bit overhyped. Like, everyone absolutely loves this game. It has some big twists that you won't see coming. It doesn't matter how good you are at predicting storylines, you just will not see this coming. And it's also designed to be played through multiple times, so it is very clever in that regard. But yeah, it's one of those that almost has legendary status within its following. So maybe go check out a few reviews and see if it's for you. It might not look it, but yeah, perhaps it is, but it is certainly a lot darker than meets the eye, that's for sure. The sale for Doki Doki Literature Club, 33% off until September the 25th.
Now, it was at this point that I waited a couple of days because the best deals come out on a Thursday. You can probably hear the difference in my voice, actually. I think I was a bit under the weather. Listening to the footage there, I sound like I've got my nose held. But we have Triangle Strategy 60% off, £19.99. That is such a good price for one of the best tactical RPGs. I think what makes this one so good is it's Square Enix really doubling down on the narrative aspects of the different kingdoms and the way they're warring factions. It came at a time after things like Game of Thrones had really captured people's attention, and we won't talk about the last season of that, but it did some really interesting things with its vitriolic politics and conflicts between nations, and I think that's where Triangle Strategy really excels. Although perhaps sometimes it goes a little extra when it comes to dialogue, and it could do with just cutting the waffle a little bit, it's still a brilliant game and I loved it. It works perfectly with their art style as well, and there are some shocking moments. And I don't mean shocking bad, I mean like genuinely quite upsetting. For £19.99 you are getting a ton of gameplay. Go check out our review. Triangle Strategy 60% off until October the 2nd. It wouldn't be right if I didn't mention a couple of other absolute bangers from Square Enix before a hidden gem that I am confident is a new one. Like, new to me, it was my pickup of the week. It is great. So first we got NIER Automata, the End of Your Her edition, 60% off. You play as an android sent back down to Earth. There are lots of mechanical creatures that have basically overrun it, and it has a fast action-based combat system. This one runs really well, and this was one of the earlier times where Square Enix revisited a game a number of times to patch and improve it. And yeah, on the subject of patch and improve, the All Patched Up series, if you didn't catch it, has restarted. We've been revisiting a few games that were launched on Switch 1 and 2 recently that have been improved. And there is another episode scheduled to go out on Monday, so if you enjoy that series you can look forward to that one. But NIER Automata at £13.99. It's funny, I know it's not all about cost, it isn't all about cost, but in this day and age games are stupidly expensive, and waiting for sales is just potentially a smarter option on a lot of them, unless you are a staunch physical collector, and then fair play to you. But £13.99, that is its cheapest ever price, it's matching its lowest, and for that you're getting a stupid amount of hours. That sale goes on until October the 2nd. Then the legendary Dragon Quest XI's Echoes of an Elusive Age, Masters of the Long Title, the definitive edition, is 50% off until October the 2nd, and that's £17. for £17.49 I should say, for a ridiculously big game. I was probably most excited actually about Dragon Quest, was it 7, the remake they're doing, because that's not one that I've played before and it just looks delightful. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. What was the one that caught your eye? Like, if you're an RPG fan, what was the one that stood out to you? For me, it had to be Dragon Quest. As soon as I hear that soundtrack, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. But for £17.49, go check it out. That's Dragon Quest, Echoes of an Elusive Age, 50% off until October the 2nd. And then my little hidden gem pickup that I was talking about, a game that I think I do vaguely remember hearing about it coming out and then seeing that it needed some work at launch, and I think it did get patched up, is The Last Spell. Now I was able to pick this one up, I think it's $9.99, 60% off until October the 7th, but it's a 40 to 100 hour long proper RPG. All the stats, all the skills, the perks, the traits. It has that great top-down perspective that's going to remind you. It feels like a halfway house between like Syndicate Wars or the original Syndicate, the Fallout games, again the originals, and something else, almost like a cell shaded. It looks great. It's all set after the apocalypse has taken place, but in this magical world of mages and things. It lets you build your own classes, which is something I've always loved. Well, since I first played Baldur's Gate and could create that fighter thief class, but you're managing a full squad. As well as that, the city of Haven, that's like the main focus of the game, you gradually rebuild it and you can build up its defenses, walls, put traps in. So there's more here potentially than you might think. Now I will say, I think to keep the scope within the realms of, you know, what you're imagining, it does have some roguelite elements. It does have the runs element that you would be used to from a roguelite, but it just works very well by having that town that you're gradually rebuilding, giving it that focus, and the story elements as well. So maybe you've not heard of it. It's a tactical turn-based RPG. It's lowest ever price. There is a physical of this one as well, and you can pick up a copy on PlayAsia. You could use our discount code if you wanted in the link in the description, but that's up to you. There's also a normal physical. You could probably find it cheaper, honestly. That sale goes on until October the 7th for our hidden gem, The Last Spell. So then a few little Savaloys, the really cheap games that you can pick up nice and easily, your Fed Cooks, your Costco hot dogs, the ones that you really shouldn't buy but for some reason they're already in your basket. First up, you've got the Deponia Collection, old school point and click adventures at 90% off at about $2 until October the 10th. Lego Worlds is $2.99, that's a crazy price. One of my favourites, Farloan Sales, is 87% off, $1.99. And we've got the really quirky Billion Road. I'm pretty sure Glen has played this one before and said it was pretty fun, if a little bit crazy. It's offline 1 to 4 players as well. That's just £3.59, 80% off its lowest ever price until September the 29th. So that's it for this week. I hope you found something that you enjoy. I hope you've got some good games that you're playing at the moment. September has been a cracking month for releases. Like many of you said on our last video where we kind of recapping the Nintendo Switch 2, and I almost said that September was a bad month, and then we kind of corrected ourselves and was like, hang on, what am I talking about? You've had Silksong, you got Hades 2, there are a bunch of games coming out this week. Check out our upcoming games video that Glen put out yesterday. It's just one of those expensive wallet busting weeks, so I don't know whether this sales video is going to be very helpful. But a big thanks to all of you that do enjoy the content and those that use our website switchup.gg. As I said before, you can look forward to another deals website that's slightly more refined, potentially, to our audience and the types of things and experiences that they go for. But either way, for all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers, guys. See ya! So some of you may have snuck in after the credits and be looking for a FarmUp episode. Honestly, it's like wood up at this point because I am chopping wood, trying to get everything ready because I do not like to pay the extortionate heating bills that we have here in the UK. I think last year it was costing me something ridiculous like £250, £300 a month just in gas to keep the house warm. So I decided, I'd find any dead trees and ask and get a load of wood, and yeah, we were able to not use the heating once. So this year I'm chopping up some logs, getting it ready, and looking forward to the sweet corn that hopefully will eventually grow on the FarmUp plot. So you can watch me chop some logs, and I will see you next week. Nice one.